Alright, so today we're looking at Silent Hill 2. I covered Silent Hill 1 a few days ago and went over Silent Hill 1 in its gameplay and its contribution to the series and the genre in general. Silent Hill 2 is what a lot of people consider to be the best game of them all, and the best game of all time. It's like the Resident Evil 4 of the Silent Hill series, to be honest. People love it, and people want to see it remade all the time. You always see, oh, if you're not going to make a new Silent Hill, just remake the second one. People love this game, and there's a lot of reasons as to why. I think the game's incredible, I think the story is amazing, the gameplay is a massive improvement from the first. Obviously this one's a PS2 one, and the first game is a PS1 game, so it's already vastly improved. But it's a damn good game, and it is really, really good. So we're going to go over the story, the gameplay. Not too different from the first game in the gameplay point, but even so, let's go to it. Let's go through it and have a look. Okay, so story-wise, you play as James Sunderland, who receives a letter from his wife saying she's at a hotel, I believe it's a hotel, in the town of Silent Hill, and to come and basically come and get her and come and find her. He's already aware that she's dead, like he knows that she's dead, so he's very confused. He's been having weird dreams that showed the town, and he's come to find out what's going on, basically. And this is the game that kind of really tries to kind of get the point across that the town isn't okay, like it's not a good place to be. Obviously there's a kind of a dominant story that the town's sentient and it thinks for itself, it does things to draw people in and then kind of deals with them, and it also makes you face your darkest, like, secrets or past or whatever. It makes you face that and come to terms with it. But obviously it's an evil town, so, you know, it's not somewhere you want to be. And he's going there to find his wife, or his wife, because she's dead. The story really takes a turn near the end, and you do find out what really happened, and it is just crazy. Like, it's really good. I won't spoil the ending, but that's the story. That's why he's there. That's why he's going there. So if you haven't played it and you want to experience the story, go and play the game as soon as possible if you can, because you will not be disappointed with how it ends up concluding. Like the first game, there is multiple endings as well, I believe. Could be wrong. I think there's like 2 or 3. So again, your decisions throughout the game determine what happens at the end. So yeah, the game doesn't have 2 or 3, it has 6, but 6 endings. I think one of them is a bit of a jokey one, but they all kind of sum up how the main character feels at the end of the game, and again, it depends on the events of the game, what you do, what you don't do, and stuff like that. So it's interesting. You can always replay it and try and get the other endings as well, so it's always nice to have a replayability in a game like this. Silent Hill 2 also introduced a pretty iconic villain to the series, who people know of basically everywhere nowadays. People know who he is, what he looks like. He's made appearances in other games. He's a playable killer in Dead by Daylight, as well as Cheryl as a survivor. But this is Pyramid Head. Pyramid Head, everyone knows who Pyramid Head is. He's the big guy with a big pyramid helmet on with a massive, like, blade that he drags around on the floor behind him. He is essentially the, I would say, the early version of the pursuer types. He is an enemy you come across throughout the game periodically that you can't really kill until the game allows you to do so. So you either have to kind of, I think the first encounter with him in the game, you have to kind of keep alive for a certain amount of time before he goes away. So it is kind of the early versions of these pursuer types, and he is, again, a very iconic character. People know who he is. He's in the movies, although those movies are kind of interesting. I think the first movie is pretty good, but they're interesting. Yeah, iconic character, iconic villain, all introduced in Silent Hill 2. Couple improvements from the first game. Obviously graphically it is a lot better because it's on PS2. The sound, again, I mentioned in the first video, Silent Hill has this thing with the sound in the background, like the ambient sound. It's really creepy. Whether it's footsteps in the distance of something you never actually see, people making whispering in the background or talking in the background, monsters kind of walking around. I believe there is a sound effect of Pyramid Head dragging his blade along the floor that pops up every now and again. The game has a lot of this ambient stuff that really kind of does add a whole layer of kind of immersion and makes you feel on edge, or something is actually going to appear even though it actually doesn't. And that's the best kind of horror, you know, so expecting something that's not actually going to happen. The build up to nothing is always an interesting one. Gameplay, on the gameplay standpoint, obviously it's an improvement of the first game, but it still shares a lot of similar things. You know, it's as well a horror game. You have limited everything, basically. You have to find healing, you have to find weapons, ammo. Again, the game does offer you a kind of varied amount of melee weapons, so you can kind of save ammo for when it's kind of necessary to do so, whether it's a boss fight or whatever. Maps as well, maps and puzzle solutions, keys, hundreds of locked doors, all still in the game. The town's a bit bigger in this one than the first one. There's a lot more options to kind of walk around. There's plenty of iconic locations. You have the hotel, the hospital, the bar. I forget what the bar is called. I think it's called Angels something. But these locations are really, really well made, and they look really good. Plenty of extra characters as well you come across, which all have their reasons for being there and reasons for, you know, meeting you. So there's a lot of depth to the game as well as just following the main character around. But yeah, gameplay kind of the same, just a bit more responsive, a bit more improved than the original. But yeah, that's basically going to be it. Like, I don't want to go into too much detail with the second game, because it is a massive deal. Like, a lot of, you know, like I've said at the beginning, a lot of people love this game. I think it's just a masterpiece, and it does have every potential to be that. Like, everything about it is good. The horror is good. The story is amazing. Gameplay is good. Some of the moments that happen in the game, which again I don't want to spoil for anyone who hasn't played it before, they're all good. They all fit the game. They all make sense. And the game is memed on as well, like mainly for James, but it is funny, man. Like, they're clearly not memes that are meant to be taking the piss. They're just memes to joke about things that happen in the game. But yeah, like I said, a lot of people do think Silent Hill 2 is the best. I would agree. I do think Silent Hill 2 is probably the best of the first four. The ones after that I don't really count, because they really do go downhill after 4. For me, the order will probably go 2, 1, 4 and 3. I really like 4. But yeah, 2 and 1 are the good ones, the really good ones. And they're all games. They're all games now. People are really waiting for a new one, and especially over the past year, there's been a lot of talk of whether it's going to happen. You know, is there one being made secretly? Is there not one being made? Is there a remake or a remaster coming? It's all up in the air at the minute, but I'd imagine maybe next year we'll know something solid. Like, whether they say another game is coming 100% and we don't know what it is, at least that's confirmation, but we will see. But like I said, I really encourage anyone who hasn't played the first 2 at the very least to hopefully find a way to do so. I believe they're most accessible on PC and Xbox. I believe the HD collection is on Xbox. That is 1, 2, no, that's 2 and 3, I believe. So you've got 2, 1, I think you can probably get on PC pretty easily. The collection is also on PS Now, but obviously that's a stream service, so you will have to stream the game. But if you're on the PS3, I'm sure you can find an old copy of the collection somewhere, which is again 2 and 3. 3 is a good game, and we'll be covering 3 next. I do like 3. I don't think it's bad. I just prefer 4 to 3. But that's for another time. But yeah, this has been Silent Hill 2. Do let me know what you think of the story of the game, the gameplay of the game. Do you think it deserves to be held in such high regard that it is? Obviously, again, you know, everyone thinks this is one of the best games ever made, and definitely the best in the series. Again, I agree with the best in the series point. Do I think it's the best game of all time? Not for me, but I see why people would think so. So I'm interested to know if you like it. If you don't, we'll be doing Silent Hill 3 in a few days. There's a few Resident Evil topics that need to be done sooner. Cool things that are coming up in the community, and leaks and rumours and all that kind of thing. So I'm going to throw those out soon, and then we'll probably jump back into Silent Hill 3, probably in a week's time. But until then, thank you for watching. Remember to leave your thoughts on Silent Hill 2 in the comments, and to subscribe for more survival horror content, as well as, you know, maybe other things that are in there. I've kind of got some ideas for, not horror games in 2022, but games of a similar type. For example, Dying Light 2 is out in February, I believe. So that's something that I'm interested in covering a bit, as well as jumping into Back 4 Blood when their DLC season starts rolling out. But yeah, Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all tomorrow.